There are a lot of people in the world who express that they go through different states of being that maybe they have gone through, but it feels amplified, or they have not experienced before. See, the majority of people, because of the way life is, the way life pushes us to do the same repetitive cycle and tiring us without having much time to question reality. See, majority of people are forgetting that we are nothing else but cells in this beautiful organism that this planet that we inhabit is. This planet is a huge organism. It is fully alive, and it obviously goes through its own evolutionary phases as well. Whatever happens within the planet, whatever happens with its field, with its subtle layers of existence, well, we are also influenced by that. Also, whatever happens in the world, one way or another, we will also feel. Now, what we are going through, what the entirety of humanity is going through, is called the detachment phase. This is a very powerful transcendental phase, if we are to think a bit about that, where all of our beliefs, everything that we held dear, is feeling like it's no longer there, it's no longer important to us. All of our challenges, it's like we are being put in front of the mirror, and everything that we ever believed in is presented as a possible lie. We are finally being placed in a position where we have to question everything that we held dear. People will find that their religious beliefs, political beliefs, everything that they ever embraced, even their favorite movies, their favorite video games, favorite activities, hobbies, everything will feel a bit stale, at least. It will feel unimportant, and they might even have an openness for something else. This is also a period where a lot of the repressed issues of our ancestors are simply letting themselves loose. They are simply releasing themselves, in many people's cases, quite forcefully. And that might initiate certain feelings that maybe they haven't experienced before. It has documented in numerous thousands of cases that people experiencing levels of awakening may even end up in hospital with certain weird situations like feeling like fainting, feeling like throwing up, feeling extreme anxiety, but there is no apparent source. Psychology and psychiatry have obviously been altered in a way to suit certain agendas, and some of those agendas include the fact that people do not necessarily wake up, and should it ever happen to them, those people end up instead as being marked as crazy or problematic instead of being helped to experience and to stabilize those states of heightened awareness. Yes, ASIC society obviously does not want uh, its deviants to become sensitive again, to take up responsibilities for their life. Yes, and the more people cling to their own obsessions, to their own views, to their own beliefs, the more they will be challenged, the harder it can hurt. And in some people's cases, they might even find themselves on the exact opposite spectrum. Some people who have had an attachment towards hating something might suddenly find an interest in that. And, well, maybe even vice versa. Some people who are extremely calm might find themselves in a situation where they are suddenly very sensitive to the world, and they might even absorb energy way easier, and they become unnecessarily aggressive. Yes, these can be situations and times when emotional imbalance can be a point. Some people will experience headaches. Some people will experience different kinds of heaviness within different parts of their body. I'm sensing that a lot of women will have a lot of sensations surrounding either their breasts or their ovaries or their kidneys or probably their stomach, because those are places where usually a lot of the womanly related issues usually are said to gather around. Different kinds of emotional burials. Yes, when you don't like certain things, but you bury it deep within, hoping that suppressing it will simply solve the problem. Those will become layers and layers of problems in time, and unconsciously they will become diseases, or they will become a tendency to fall ill. Some people aren't necessarily becoming weaker and weaker. Yes, some people, when they gather these issues and they store them within the body, because that's where they get stored. Yes, if you ignore them, the body will store them in different parts, and those parts will become somewhat weakened and weakened. Some people repetitively become ill of the same thing, although when they go to the hospital, ER, or whatever they end up in, and they perform different checkups, everything feels perfect. They're probably even good, and there doesn't seem to be any reason why they fall ill, or there doesn't seem to be any medical issue, but still they feel unexpectedly drained. They feel unexpectedly bad. You have to understand, we live in a sick society where you are constantly bombarded with noise, you are constantly bombarded with information. Even the radiation that your mobile phones emit can have a harmful effect on you. Now, the point is the Wi Fi radiation, the mobile data, and the such, they all are nothing else but frequencies. Yes? And, well, all these infrastructures that transmit the television broadcasts, the internet waves, radio waves, all of this can have a little influence each on us. Some people can become a bit vulnerable in situations like this, where heightened awareness becomes active and people become more sensitive. Yes, when we look at all sorts of things, well, many things can happen. Yes, um, these energies that surround us can also be heightened to act against you, because you have to understand everything that is energy can also has to be looked at as information. Yes, energy is energy, it doesn't matter much. What matters the most is the information within. Yes, and even the internet waves, radio waves, mobile data, and the such, those can be filled with harmful energy. Yes, it is known since at least 30 years that secret services can make use of different frequencies through the antennae and radio infrastructure and keep the people in a certain state, especially when there's an uprising. The people can be bombarded with a certain energy to pacify them or to make them even more aggressive if a certain agenda needs them to be more aggressive. Yes, and such things are true. We live in a situation where, water, air, and most of the foods that you eat are somewhat poisoned. Yes, they look like the foods you know back in the times, but the taste is somewhat different. Yes, we are no longer eating fruits that seem alive. We are eating a lot of replaced and reprocessed foods, which also have a certain influence and might cause some of our dormant negative energies to bubble up and to seek release. If people do not know how to provide release for those energies, they might end up in problematic situations. Some might even end up in psychiatry wards. Because imagine all the fanatical people, all the obsessed people in the world, finally having to be placed in the mirror effect. Yes, that's the personal term I use for that, where they will be put in a situation where they have to question their own beliefs. They don't have any other beliefs to lean on. Yes, most people have multiple beliefs. It's, because we also have multiple sources that provide us with information. Obviously, you can't necessarily believe one single source. If you want to have a stable belief on something, looking at multiple sources and, well, embracing more one side, but also keeping an eye on the other sides is always the healthy way, because it's never a good point to sit on just one side of the story. You always have to know multiple possibilities, because you never know when one of those is suddenly going to be revealed as a truth. Yes, everyone nowadays be more or less a liar. Everyone nowadays is farming views and such. Nobody cares much about whatever is true, how many people die for something or out of something or whatever. It's all about, farming views. So the point is, embracing multiple viewpoints of each story is tiring in a way, but it is the healthy way to be, because at least you train your mind to stay somewhat open. When you reach a situation when you have only single-sidedness, the more it will hurt when you have to face that single-sidedness and more or less almost automatically figure out that you're not looking at the right thing. Yes? So this phase of detachment is here for a certain period of time. It will depend on individual. To some people it will be longer, to some it will be shorter. Some people might not even notice it, but to some people it's gonna be an intense period of time. Yes? So hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated, take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferinjan Bor signing out.